Hello everyone, I hope you guys are doing well and your studies are going in full swing. So here we are, all our months and years of preparation boiling down into our exams, which is just about starting in a week's time. So this is where you start for your financial reporting and a lot of questions popping on your mind, and here we are trying to help you with the ideal last week or the last few days strategy that you should apply pre-exam. Again, I'll guide you with what should be the sequence, how do you manage the writing practice, how do you kind of do you refer all the questions or not. So you can customize it depending on where you want to make a bit of change, but I'll keep it quick, short, and at the end also share with you some things that you can remember before your exams. Okay, so here we go. First of all, how many days should you devote? Well, ideally, in my opinion, around 6 full days plus half a day buffer before your exam. That should be more than sufficient. If you want to cut it short, take it up to 5 days, but ideally anything below that is not something that I would advise, primarily because this is your first paper and you don't want to cut your corners over there and put the pressure into the other papers. Let one more day go into the first paper. What will happen? You'll study a little more, you'll get more marks, nothing more, right? So you would want to put a little more effort in your first paper. So put at least 6.5 to 5.5 days, and that should be your ideal target. But if you have some other commitments, I've also given a plan for 4 days. Now when you look at this plan, I've given you this plan day wise, so you can stick to that. But the broad essence of this plan is you want to kind of mix the important big chapters and the indices. You don't want to do all of them at one go. All the big chapters will drain you out. All indices together again might kind of be a little more problematic when it comes to the bigger chapters. So ideally what I would suggest is, I've just tried to put this sequence down. First you start with share-based payments and financial instruments. So these two topics you do. After that, all the asset-based indices. We have written all of them. I'll share this on the Telegram channel as well, so you can take it up to from there. So all the other asset-based indices just finish after that. So probably if this day takes a little bit of a day or day and a half, this would also take around day and a half. And then you go on again into the business combination and consolidation. Finish that up. Along with that, try to do related topics like income taxes, which has a fair bit of impact on business combination, foreign exchange, which has some impact on consolidation as well. So you do business combination, consolidation along with the related topics, and then you do Index 115 and other important indices like EPS, like employee benefits, etc. All the detailed hour by hour, topic by topic, day wise I've shared, but that you can refer from the Telegram channel. And lastly, you keep the smaller indices in theory. Largely this is because this is something where you can kind of cut short on the time, compress, and kind of if the need be, go a little faster. It would be very difficult to do the same for something like a business combination or a consolidation, for example. And hence this is the ideal sequence that I would kind of recommend. Over here what I've tried to do is, let us say if you go for the 6-day sequence, it will start on 30th September. If you do for 5 days, it will start by 31st December. And in my opinion, that should be the ideal thing, as we have studied the share-based payments, asset-linked indices, business combination, consolidation, 115 along with the other important topics, and you have everything else put at the end. Now this is in terms of the hours. You can kind of look at it carefully. Maybe if there's some plus or minus, it is fine, but if you're deviating a lot, then you kind of need to be careful over here. Now secondly, the question is, should we do everything in writing? Because writing speed is very important. In my opinion, you don't have the time to do that. But having said that, all the important chapters that are there, in that you pick out around 2 to 3 major questions, and we have shared a super 149 file as well. We'll again share this on Telegram and you can kind of access that. Like for example, if you remember the business combination chapter, you have this professional dynamic question, or the AX, BX, ABX question, or when you go to consolidation, there are a couple of very common questions like the chain holding one, or there's a question of Ram and Krishnan, etc. Again, in leases, there is a lease modification question, or in revenue, you'll have these big questions where you have to so what I'm trying to, in financial instruments, a compound financial instruments one. So these are the questions where 1 or 2 of them you would want to write and solve. Once you get the writing practice, second you get the flow, especially in those big business combination or consolidation questions, you get the flow of solving. One thing is knowing it, second thing is being able to reproduce it on paper. So that is equally important. So I'm not asking you to solve everything or even the LDR or all the important questions. I'm asking you to at least solve in fair 1 or 2 detailed important questions, and if it takes time, so be it, but you do it on pen and paper. That is something which is very helpful. Now, do we need to review everything and refer everything? No, not needed. You can refer the important LDR questions. If you have time and if you have confidence, you can refer to more, but otherwise, if you even stick to the important LDR questions, that is sufficient. Again, the important LDR questions file, I will just share it again, the link for the same on the Telegram channel, so you can refer that. You might have it earlier as well, so depending on when you have kind of taken the course, you would have probably those important LDR questions. You can just refer to them and refer the concept book, the Shield, or whichever concept book you are referring. At this point, don't try to touch upon new material. It is, the time is gone beyond you. If you think that, oh, I had to cover this, I had to cover that, this is the time where you consolidate on your strengths. What is done is done. Just focus on consolidating and doubling down on your strengths, because that is what is going to give you the marks. And at this point, the game shifts, as I say, to the mind. So as strong and as confident you go, remember, no one is getting 100 on 100 there. I mean, I would love if you kind of get it, but no one is getting that 100 on 100, most likely, right? So just ensure that you have that margin of error. You don't really punish yourself for getting every comma and every decimal right. I mean, if it is, I mean, I'm not saying that you go, I mean, you kind of go and be okay on doing stuff wrong, but remember, there will be things where you might struggle, and that's absolutely fine. You have a huge margin of error. I mean, we are targeting to get 60 plus, and at exemption as well, you can go wrong 40% of your paper and still score an exemption. So you have a huge margin of error. The thing over here in FR is the writing speed has to be quite crucial at this point. That is something which you should remember. Tell yourself daily that when you are going to write the paper, you have to time yourself. If you've written mock tests, you would have known. If you have not, that's fine. You kind of go ahead and focus on your preparation at this stage. So give it your best shot, and remember that don't be very hard on you. I mean, don't kind of think back and say that, oh, I have not done this. Think of what you have done. Count your blessings, right? Think of how much you have achieved and how much you have completed, because to be honest, they are not going to ask you everything. They're going to ask you certain things from certain chapters, and more likely than not, you would have done that. So focus on consolidating your strengths. Let your mind be very clear. Avoid doing any kind of comparisons. You would see your friends around you covering multiple things, multiple people telling you to do multiple things. I'm telling you, what you have done is your battle. You have to fight your own battle, and I'm sure you're going to do it exceptionally well. It is just that you need to give yourself continuous positive affirmations from now on. Ensure that you kind of have this habit of catching up sleep. If you were the person who used to stay awake all night, and try to get your schedule also in place for the exams, because it is important that you kind of have a proper schedule and talk positively to your mind. If anyone is kind of feeding you negative energy, cut them out for the next 2 weeks, and you will see a massive change. Try to kind of speak positively to yourself. Be confident about your preparations, and you don't know what wonders you can achieve. Okay, so that's it from me right now. We'll meet again before your kind of exams, but till then, I'll leave it on to you. We have shared all our resources, the RTP videos. If you want to refer the recent RTPs, the Jan 26, the September 25, May 20, all of those RTPs, the important and different questions videos, the marathons, the revision videos, whatever you want. We have tried to kind of put a YouTube playlist for it, and we have also shared it. But the ball is now in your court, and I'm sure you're going to kind of play really nice. Be confident, be smiling. God bless you all, and see you soon. Bye-bye. Take care.